Wait, I told the story about how when I was in Japan with Papa Bear, I tried to stop him from walking into a hentai store, but he didn't. That's like a core memory. That's like a core memory for me. Papa Bear's first run-in with actual hentai. Maybe he wanted some culture. No, I promise you it was a total accident. Okay, I guess I'll tell the story for those of you who haven't heard it. But basically, when I was 13, Papa Bear and I went to Japan. He surprised me with a trip for my 13th birthday, which is really sweet. So I went with him, his uncle, and his uncle's son's like my second cousin. We're pretty close with them. They live in England. So if you've never been to Japan before, there are a lot of buildings with like several stories that have different businesses in them, right? And we were looking for a specific restaurant. So we're looking for this restaurant in this like multi-story building, right? And Papa Bear's like, oh, we should check in this. We should check in this this door. Like, oh, like maybe it's in here. And I see, and okay, at the time, right, it had been like 3 years since I got into anime, so I was like still pretty young. And as a kid, I was really good at like metering my consumption of media that was like not good for me, right? So I was like not the normal 13-year-old. I was like, I don't want to see ecchi girl, because I was kind of a late bloomer. And it's also not really made for women. Like, let's be real here. Like, it's for the male gaze a lot of the time. So I was like, okay, I don't really want to see fan service. So I kind of learned like what shows and like what art was like the hentai art style, whatever, you know. So there's like a poster on the door, and like the anime girl on the poster is like very obviously like in the hentai ecchi art style from like the early 2010s. And I was like, Papa Bear, no, you don't want to go in there. Like, I promise you, you're not gonna like that's not the restaurant. And he was like, why? What do you mean? I was like, and I was like too embarrassed to say like it was porn because I couldn't say hentai because Papa Bear doesn't know what hentai means. I don't know if he does now, but at the time, I was like too embarrassed. I was 13 and awkward, and I wasn't gonna be like, no, Papa Bear, that's hentai. I didn't want him to know that I knew what that meant, right? So I was like, no, Papa Bear, like, don't go in there. He's like, why not? We just check. And I was like, no. And so Papa Bear opens the door, and there's like rows and rows of just doujins, and like on the walls there's like dakimakura art, fucking, you know, the whole 9 yards. And my dad opens the door, and the cashier looks him straight in the eyes. And Papa Bear is like 6'2", and like he's very large and bearded and quite tan. So he sticks out in Japan, right? And and so the 3 other guys who were standing fucking perusing the stock of like, I don't know, like just hentai, they had them open and shit. They like turn their heads, stare at Papa Bear, and Papa Bear goes, ah! And he closes the door. And that was it. I need to ask him if he remembers that, because I don't know if he does. So yeah, I tried my best to save him. I tried my best to save him from that experience, but he wouldn't listen to me.